themselves for is that the fans are coming back to the stands.
Yeah.
Yeah? When you actually go down to the YMCA, you can see that the crowd is there.
Yeah.
It's not like the other time where the numbers were extremely very few. I remember at the start of the invite tournament that Power Basketball Club hosted. The first weekend, there were hardly any fans.
Yeah, stands were really empty.
Yeah. But as the weekends went on, second weekend, third weekend,
the stands started getting more full.
Yeah, people started coming back and everything, and I also admire the way the YMCA is handling the SOPs.
Yeah.
Right from the gate.
Yeah, all the way.
You have to have a mask. They have water stands built. Wash your hands. You are sprayed and everything. I like that, and it's very encouraging for the game of basketball.
Yeah.
I wish other disciplines can also start following suit like that.
Yeah. You know, the irony is that FUBA is a body that is supposed to actually be regulating these things when it comes to the game of basketball, and they have done a good job so far. But you see that, first of all, the division leagues, the D leagues, actually continued with their season when FUBA couldn't. Then you have Power coming up with a tournament and observing the same SOPs that the NBL could have done
and
earlier.
Doing it very well.
Which we could have done earlier, and you know, the league actually would have continued. But I'm glad that these few entities are coming up to show, you know, the bigger body that, you know what, we can actually run basketball in Uganda. All we need to do is be committed to a few things here and there, and we continue. Yeah,
because actually the credit of this happening is not actually going to the federation.
Yeah.
The credit of the SOPs being followed at the YMCA are going to the institute.
Yeah.
They're the ones that have instilled this in place.
Yeah.
Now, as a federation, this is a venue that you use. This is a venue that is home of Ugandan basketball, without a doubt. Now, why isn't the federation also putting in more effort towards this?
Yeah. That is the question of the hour. And I wish whoever is out there, if you're watching the show, you know, hit us up in the comment section. Let us know, why is FUBA failing to, you know, follow these SOPs that, you know, these other small entities like different teams are doing, like the D League is doing. Why can't we, you know, also follow the same SOP so that we can get on with the game of basketball? Hit us up in our comment section. Remember, we are live on our YouTube. That's House of Talent Uganda live stream. On Facebook, House of Talent Uganda. HTV1 on our Twitter. And we're still discussing the game of basketball. And yeah, I mean, league is going to resume next season, okay? But with a new variant of coronavirus coming out, you know, there's that fear again that, okay, what happens? You know, God forbid, okay, that we get into the same situation that we were. But in the event that we do, then how does basketball resume? Because other sports are going on, and we're losing out.
We're losing out, and just one of the interesting comments I have here from someone that actually we have hosted on the show, Bashir Wogem, saying the federation should actually get people who work there for as a job. 8 to 5 instead of people who just volunteer.
Right. But being a gambler, you can blow that money thinking you're getting it back. Yeah.
Money, he just spoils it like as Good afternoon, my name is Felix Eupal and it is Slam Dunk Basketball. Welcome to yet another episode where we discuss, talk basketball, talk the intricacies, talk about what is happening, the latest news and everything. And in studio with me is my co-host, Emmanuel Ateng. Emma, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Felix.
Yeah, it is The festive days are just around the corner.
Yeah.
Let's start with what plans you have for the holidays before we get into the many issues happening around the game of basketball locally.
We're talking earlier, and I think the first plan is to actually get a Christmas tree somewhere.
Oh, a Christmas tree is somewhere inside here, inside the studio.
Yeah, I guess that, it would give you the feeling of, we're actually getting into the holidays.
I hope it will have quite many lights, but I'm not going to be part of the decoration of that. I'm not.
It's okay. You can bring the gift boxes and just
bring the gift
drop
boxes,
them under there.
And in the game of basketball, as we start off the show, interesting stuff happening. Watoto upsetting Emperors 61-48. The game has just ended, and it's not a result that many actually foresaw coming, including myself, with the way Emperors was prepared for this. Now Watoto get elevated. Your take on the final score of that?
I think when it comes to the Emperors game, even when they played Livingstone in the semi-final, a lot of people thought that Emperors was going to beat Livingstone. Okay, but I mean they play different styles of basketball. But Livingstone and Watoto play some similar kind of basketball. It's more of a running team, so it didn't come as a surprise to me. I knew that these Watoto young boys are going to outrun the Emperor guys and actually win the game. So for me it wasn't a surprise.
To me it came as a very big surprise, seeing that Watoto has more experience. I mean Emperors have more experienced players.
Yeah.
They're players who have actually even played in the upper league, and then this is a moment where you'd expect them to be way more calm, and they're playing stopping time, and they know how to execute better, and here they were, and the result was flipped.
You know how sometimes experience is good, but have you ever run with kids? Those boys run.
Yeah, but that is where the experience comes in. When you know that a team is running at you, you know that we have to set up a D. Then you know that the team is running, they're rotating the ball on the left and on the right. So what do? We set up a zone defense.
Yeah, but those the Watoto guys played up friendly with them before. Very good shooters, play at a very fast pace. So it depends on whose stamina will outlast the other. So I guess in this case, Watoto's stamina actually, outlasted the Emperors, and they came up with a win.
It has been quite interesting and also intriguing, also frustrating at the moment in the lower division. One of the key contentious issues is the issue of Guru Hawks being demoted, using a player that Federation deemed ineligible after him taking part in the entire season. I was speaking to the General Secretary of FUBA, Hudson Segaman, and told me the competitions committee realized that the player played under a different name throughout the entire season. Now the big question is, who is to blame? The administration or the team?
Well, first of all, when it comes to sports, the team is going to do anything it can to win. That is their role, okay?
Yeah, because you have to win, but then as administrators, you also have to ensure that you show a right path.
Yes, you show a right path, but your main aim is to what? Win this game. So sometimes people go with underhanded tricks to win, okay? Not saying that's what Gulu did. But when we flip it over on the side of the Federation, how does a player play in the first part of the season under a different name? Then the same player again plays in a different part of the season.
Gets into the postseason.
Yeah. If we say they had some plastic surgery and changed the way they look, okay. But if the man looks the same as he did in the first part of the season, and is the same guy, and you guys actually don't realize that, they just switch names, then there is someone who's not focusing on, someone who's not doing their job right.
Because someone has been in the league for the entire season. Someone has actually taken part in the first set of the postseason, that is the quarters. Then you get to realize in the semis that, Emmanuel Ateng was playing under a different name. So that definitely shows that I believe Pai Kamuga and the other team that is running, Brian Rugend, or the team that is running the lower league management committee, they need to put that in order.
Yeah, and you know, the funny thing is that I don't think they would have actually realized it if Kampala Rockets hadn't come out to, you know, put it out there that, you know, this guy used an eligible player. But then also, why did Kampala Rockets wait till the guy scored, was it 20-something points? And they were beaten.
He actually scored 27 points.
27 points?
Yeah.
What were they doing in the in the first
part
of the series?
27 points against them.
Yeah, so what
27 points, 4 assists.
Yeah, so what were they doing in the first game? If they see someone is ineligible, they say, okay, this guy can't play, so I have to move on with basketball. But you wait for the guys to reach, you know, the third game, then you complain. And now Gulu Hawks has been one of those teams that has been in the Ugandan League for a very long time, okay? And seeing them demoted or actually even exiting the league.
They are actually exiting the league, and according to FUBA General Secretary, there is going to be a tribunal meeting next week to try and see how they can arbitrate that situation. Because there are also other precedents where vegetarian also are alleged to have been using an eligible player.
So the whole situation becomes complex because now let's say that the tribunal sits and allows Gulu Hawks to come back. What happens to the Watoto men who have been actually pushed
who have won
to the higher league? Yes, so do we push them back down? Okay, what happens? Do we open a third division for those teams?
Well, for the federation, those are some of the issues I think, Emma, we've discussed here once and before. Some of these things shouldn't be happening if Ugandan sport is going to develop, not just basketball, all the other disciplines. These are the things that actually chase away sponsors. Lack of consistency, lack of discipline, lack of following the rules and regulations. Because now, I believe the appeal by Gulu Hawks has caught the federation in a catch-22 situation, whereby we're like, what should we do? Should we get both teams to the table, or 3 of us on the table, and we discuss this out, or should we actually replay the games?
It reminds me of when you go to play pickup, you know, usually at the pool court, when a team loses by a last basket and someone says that you didn't call a foul, okay, and they refuse to get off the court because they feel, you know, there was a call that wasn't made. So it's the same situation here, okay? Gulu will say, you know what, we are not to blame, so you can't really kick us out.
Yeah, because definitely they are not to blame. They've had the player for the entire season, they submitted in the list, so the federation had actually to cross-check, re-examine, know the players.
But you know the funny thing is, I think there's a time, I don't remember when it happened, when they were writing our team list, okay? They registered different players under different numbers. And the game started.
But the players are supposed to be under actually the exact numbers.
If Ateng Emmanuel is 13, I'm supposed to be number 13 on the score sheet. But if you put me as 23,
I'm a different person.
Exactly, I'm a different person
on the score sheet.
So when the game begins and you give the foul to 13, but 13 is not registered, then what happens?
The foul goes to the other person.
Exactly. So I think those situations actually happen. Maybe because whoever was writing the team stats at that time didn't write it correctly. So there might be a possibility. I'm just saying, might be. This is a very, I'm reaching for this one. Someone must have, you know.
I'm actually very eager to know what is going to happen from that particular meeting, and also eager to know when the federation will have its annual general meeting, because there are going to be quite a number of issues which are contagious and very intriguing, which have not been tackled.
I wish they could actually just put that on Zoom so that we can all be available to watch what happens in that meeting.
Well, hopefully, the saying that Federation is saying that the annual general meeting should be coming up soon, and also the issue of the FUBA CEO, who is supposed to be handling, and the man who we are supposed to actually be pointing the guns to, and he's also the one supposed to be giving us the answers and the solutions to this. So the General Secretary says the person is already selected and is just awaiting announcing. But we are yet to know or find
Who
out
this is.
how true this is or who this person is.
Well, whoever they are, I pray that they're spin doctor because they have to spin and weave all these situations that have been going on. It's not just this one. Issues with the national team, issues with league resumption, you know, all these other things, issues with the international players and having only 4 of them on a team, all these things. People are going to complain. So whoever that the CEO is, you know, I hope they're ready for this storm that they're getting into, because it's going to be a nice one.
Yeah, that takes me to the point of leadership and administration, but mostly leadership. So you clearly can see that with everything that is happening with the federation of basketball in Uganda, there is lapses in terms of leadership.
Yeah.
And without that, we are going to continue having more and more and more issues.
Yeah.
For instance, we have a very interesting fixture that is going to be happening later. Raise Life and Our Savior.
Yeah.
Now, in case the victory goes to the other side and the other side comes back to appeal, the federation is going to be back in the same situation.
Yeah. But anyway, for the Raise Life and Our Savior game, unless you know the reffing is really bad for that game, which is happening actually later today, I don't see why they would actually be an appeal in that game. I know it's a high stakes game for right now.
It's
you know?
They're both tied.
Yes.
Yeah. For our viewers out there, we are live Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and on our website houseoftalentug.com, and we're discussing the encounter that is going to be happening later today. Raise Life, Our Savior.
Yeah. So for the odds of this game, Raise Life versus Our Savior, first of all, everyone is fighting to, you know, be that top team that gets promoted to the new NBL that is going to have 14 teams, which I believe is really going to be
it's going to be quite a mouth-watering season.
I remember, I don't know who was hosting last time, and was saying if we could have more games, you know, in the NBL. And these 2 teams being promoted has actually given us more games.
More games, more drama, more intrigue, and more thrill.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And I don't know, I would say that Our Savior will take this game. It's going to be a hard-fought game, might even go into overtime. But today I'm calling it for Our Savior. You're calling it. But Raise Life is an excellent team, especially their point guard, Gideon, superstar player. Okay, but yeah.
Well, Emma is calling it for Raise Life for today's big encounter to determine which team is going to make it to the top league. We return after this short break. It is Slam Dunk Basketball.
Talent is here. Uganda's got talent. That one is not proven. From boxing, athletics. Now Kenya, I mean, we came in Olympics better than Kenya. For how long have we been there, struggling before? But now we had more medals than them. So the key thing here is corporate companies please come aboard. The government will do their part. They will also squeeze whatever they can to come through. National councils will also keep on budgeting to see what they can do better on us. And also federations, all of them, basketball, football, whatever they come through. Let us have a fair share to everybody. I know football gets the biggest share in Uganda. I don't know why, but because I know my small analysis is athletics and basketball right now, and netball. Those are the top 3 games in Uganda that have carried athletics, netball, basketball to continental and worldwide. We're doing so much. So we need to also get a fair share to compete with football, which is getting $1 billion shillings plus. We should also be given that opportunity.
Welcome back. It is Slam Dunk Basketball. Felix Eupal is my name, and I am here with Emmanuel Ateng. We were just discussing our savior Andre's life, the decider of who is actually going to also make it to the National Basketball League. Tropical Royals already qualified. They are up there and they're celebrating and they're eagerly watching to see who else is going to make it. The game is tied and today is going to be that decider. Emma calls it for our savior. I say that it's going to be one that is going to be called by the refs. Considering the number of decisions that have been actually going on throughout these playoffs, I believe it's going to go down to the refs. So and it's also going to go down to which team is actually going to keep their head more cool. Because, you know, a ref calling a blocking foul on you and then a walk on you, a travel, which actually you can clearly see that is not accurate, is in a way going to work up your mind. So to me, it's going to be determined by the refs.
It reminds me of Makerere Open that used to happen at Makerere whenever it was like a final game and Makerere was there. When any stupid calls were made by the ref, or any calls that were deemed stupid by the Makerere students, the game would end there.
I remember the one would always be from one of the fans in the stands. Tuguiwe.
Tuguiwe, that's it.
As long as another person also calls the same, Tuguiwe, and
that was it. And then you know you'd have to replan for a game. And yeah, I mean everything actually almost comes down to the referees because they decide the game. All right, so I pray that the referees are on their A game.
I'm looking forward to see how Sam Gombia actually plays out this one, because I believe it's going to be quite pivotal. They're going to be looking out for him. He's the big down there who they expect to pick those rebounds and actually make those blocks. So this is a game where he actually has to make his comeback.
Yeah, Gombia is a very good player. He's played on the national team. He has played for a couple of teams in the NBL, played for Warriors, played for Rhino the time they were still in the NBL and also in the second division. The only challenge here is that he's not a quick big man. He's a bit slow, so you'd have to change your game plan. Down in the D League, it's who's faster wins. So you'd have to change your plan around Gombia, so that it's a slower game. When it comes to Res Life, they have the Sudanese boys, who are very athletic, who are quick big men, but they don't have as much experience as Gombia.
And that will actually put him in a situation where he's prone to fouling easier.
Yeah, he will foul more. So as much as it will come down to the refs, I also believe that the coaches are really going to play a very big role, because they have seen themselves play throughout the season, throughout the playoffs. So it depends on which coach is going to come up with the best plan, and then it's up to the players to actually execute this plan. But at the end of the day, all these things said, it's going to come down to who wants it more. Is it Res Life or is it our savior?
See, in sport, there are different things. There are tangibles and the intangibles. Now, one of the key intangibles is attitude. Now, when you're talking about who is going to be wanting it more, that's something actually that you cannot instill. Depends on how a player will wake up, and let's say how I woke up this morning, how was I feeling? How you woke up this morning, how were you feeling? Were you really determined and you're like, this is a do or die game? Now, that is something that you don't instill in a player. All right? You players have to have that. Or the only way you can try to do that is by going the old way. Call them up and have that inspirational speech. Give them that inspirational speech. To
dose of motivation.
To gear them up and tell them, you know what, we're not walking off that court unless we have the W. It doesn't matter if it comes by 1 second, 1 basket, 1 point. So that is what is actually going to make it very interesting. And the other intriguing thing, which FUBA actually should also be praising and thanking themselves for, is that the fans are coming back to the stands. When you actually go down to the YMCA, you can see that the crowd is there.
Yeah.
It's not like the other time where the numbers were extremely very few. I remember at the start of the invite tournament that Power Basketball Club hosted. The first weekend, there were hardly any fans.
Yeah, stands were really empty.
Yeah. But as the weekends went on, second weekend, third weekend,
the stands started getting more full.
People started coming back and everything, and I also admire the way the YMCA is handling the SOPs. Right from the gate.
All the way.
You have to have a mask. They have water stands built. Wash your hands. You are sprayed and everything. I like that, and it's very encouraging for the game of basketball. I wish other disciplines can also start following suit like that.
You know, the irony is that FUBA is a body that is supposed to actually be regulating these things when it comes to the game of basketball, and they have done a good job so far. But you see that, first of all, the division leagues, the D leagues, actually continued with their season when FUBA couldn't. Then you have Power coming up with a tournament and observing the same SOPs that the NBL could have done
and
earlier.
Doing it very well.
Which we could have done earlier, and you know, the league actually would have continued. But I'm glad that these few entities are coming up to show, you know, the bigger body that, you know what, we can actually run basketball in Uganda. All we need to do is be committed to a few things here and there, and we continue. Yeah,
because actually the credit of this happening is not actually going to the federation. The credit of the SOPs being followed at the YMCA are going to the institute. They're the ones that have instilled this in place. Now, as a federation, this is a venue that you use. This is a venue that is home of Ugandan basketball, without a doubt. Now, why isn't the federation also putting in more effort towards this?
That is the question of the hour. And I wish whoever is out there, if you're watching the show, you know, hit us up in the comment section. Let us know, why is FUBA failing to, you know, follow these SOPs that, you know, these other small entities like different teams are doing, like the D League is doing. Why can't we, you know, also follow the same SOPs so that we can get on with the game of basketball? Hit us up in our comment section. Remember, we are live on our YouTube. That's House of Talent Uganda live stream. On Facebook, House of Talent Uganda. HTV1 on our Twitter. And we're still discussing the game of basketball. And yeah, I mean, league is going to resume next season, okay? But with a new variant of coronavirus coming out, you know, there's that fear again that, okay, what happens? You know, God forbid, okay, that we get into the same situation that we were. But in the event that we do, then how does basketball resume? Because other sports are going on and we're losing out.
We're losing out, and just one of the interesting comments I have here from someone that actually we have hosted on the show, Bashir Wogem, saying the federation should actually get people who work there for as a job, 8 to 5, instead of people who just volunteer.
But I like that comment. Yeah, but for someone to be there 8 to 5, you have to pay them money that is worth 8 to 5. I mean, if I'm coming there and I have to pay rent later in the month,
you have to pay rent, you have to pay bills,
and you're giving me 100K, then it really doesn't work for me, right?
It won't be enough even just for your transport.
Yeah, but then again, those are things that the CEO has to look at. You know, it's better to have a small team that you can actually pay than have a lot of volunteers that you're suffering to pay. Okay, so it's a good idea if you can get people to work actually 8 to 5, have them as permanent staff of FUBA. I believe that would be very important and pivotal to improve the game of basketball. But are we willing or are we financially able to employ those people to work an 8 to 5 job?
The issue of finances has always been something that is synonymous, and I would say a chronic problem when it comes to discussion of Ugandan basketball and implementation of policies and execution of so many things in terms of Ugandan basketball. Recently, City Oil were just supposed to be taking part in Bar, and speaking to their management, one of the issues as to why last minute they pulled out was finances. Now, so it is not just crossing from just one team, but it's now spreading all over. And the earlier that it is curbed, the earlier that next season is well more prepared. We've seen even Cobra basketball qualified for BAL. Now,
congrats to Johnny.
yeah. Now, that is a team that is being coached by our very own. City Oil missing out on this. How big a blow do you think it's going to be to their championship run next season?
Yeah, it's a big blow, and I don't know how much the financial issue played a role, but also I think another thing was that when we went for the World Cup qualifiers, the team actually got back late. Okay, they got back 2 days before they were supposed to go for the BAL qualifiers, and the team was tired, I believe. Maybe there were some other issues there. And this was the season, we had Monday here, and he said that this was the time that we actually wanted to, they had to qualify for BAL. But I mean, if they had played and lost and we say, okay, we couldn't qualify for BAL, well and good. But we couldn't even go, you know, to the next stage because now City Oil represents Uganda at that stage. It becomes a Ugandan team at that stage. So it's for the league in Uganda. I don't think it's going to be a big blow to their title run in the league, but it is a big blow for them on the African scale, because now missing out on BAL is a very big thing. It was their opportunity to get out there, and also for other players on the team, it was their opportunity to be scouted, you know, by other African teams. They have NBA scouts there,
different coaches, get different opportunities. Yeah,
so it's a big blow in that part. But for the Ugandan league, I think for that one they have planned for it for many years to come.
Well, they have planned for that, and they have the top players. But in sport, anything can happen. So they have put themselves in a situation whereby they have no other option but to actually win the league when it starts. Because that is the only way they can get a ticket back.
But I don't know what other teams are planning, but as of now, we haven't had anything from JKL, because we don't know if the team is still in existence or not, because Jetty broke off and opened, is it Jetty something? He opened
he has an academy.
Jetty Tigers or something like that.
I'm not really sure about the name. Not a basketball academy, a sporting academy.
Yeah, sporting academy.
Yeah, it has different disciplines there, and we're waiting to see how it's going to channel out. But for the other proprietor, Freedom, every single time you have a conversation with him, he assures you one thing: just wait for the season to start. We are going to have a team, and we have a team. We have players, and everything is set.
Hopefully. That also brings into the question of, does Warriors basketball team have a full squad now? Or we're still searching?
Well, actually, when you bring up the topic of Warriors basketball club, it's quite interesting. The team who have been, I'd say, mysterious, and they keep on being mysterious. The only thing that Ambrose Tashovia, their patron, will ever tell you is, just wait for us, we don't make our announcements. I quote, that says, just wait for us.
So we're waiting for the team
that is what he says, just wait for us. But I believe that now that we have reset everything, like Federation pressed the reset
back
button.
To 2019.
Everything is reset. We should also be anticipating and be waiting for them. Me, personally, I'm very eager to see what Victoria University
is going to
be having, because talk in the background is, these are the new money bags in the league, and they're shopping for the top quality players. That is not yet affirmed, but it is, you know, just like they say, walls have ears and walls can talk.
I don't know if they're going to pull back their top scorer, Mr. Chizito's Caesar Julius from City Oil.
Well, it will be quite interesting. When we return after this short break, we'll be going through your comments. It is Felix Eupal and Emmanuel Ateng, Slam Dunk Basketball. We are live, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Hit us with your remarks, your questions, and we'll be getting them out when we return.
you're in the medical field, okay, and most of the people who are in the medical field, be it pharmacy, be it medicine itself, they always disappear. You know, they feel like there's no time. Yeah, there's no time to do
attacked.
Other things. Yeah. So, how do you balance? Okay, you especially being in the medical field. Okay, how do you balance that with basketball time?
Well, okay. So, I know you know because you're my coach. You know that I'd taken the year off since COVID March because I had a lot. I have a crazy schedule. I study even on the weekends, and I just couldn't also show up for training. So many times I would show up late. Maybe I'm missing something at school to show up, or I'm doing something at school and missing training, and it was showing on the court. And I do not like to do things half-heartedly, so I decided to take a break until I can regather myself and be able to do both of them without losing any of them. But how I try to balance, people have always asked me this. Number one, it's grace of God. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, God, I need to go through this day and I need to do all these things. But it takes a lot of discipline. The things my friends are going to do, but I'll never do them because I don't have time to do it. So you have to have discipline, prioritize, know what you have to do at what time, have a timetable and follow it. No procrastination. I do not get to lay around and say, I'm not in the mood to do this. I either do it at that time or there is no other time to do it. So yeah, basically you just have to be committed, be consistent, try to make sure that you're showing up for each, and when you're there 100%. I know when I was training I would have only evening times. I'm the kind of person that never had extra time to train past high school, so every time I was on court I would give 100, whether my teammates were slacking down or not. When coach said sprint, I would sprint like my life depended on it, because it's either now or never. So try to give 100, and basically at the end of the day, I just trust God for all those things. Yeah.
Welcome back. It is Slam Dunk Basketball Talk. Felix Eupal is my name, and we're having just a discussion here concerning the various issues happening in Ugandan basketball. We're talking about City Oil, and we're requesting you for your comments and remarks. And Emma, it is quite interesting here. I have Calvin Kasule saying that City Oil should come out clean and actually say that they couldn't handle being at BAL at that level. So, well, so I'm sieving through some of the comments. Then I have another Hudson here who says that the national team should actually change and have trials before they go out again.
Well, on the first...
two very interesting comments from the ones that I've got in here in my inbox.
I think for the first comment, City Oil, okay, was the team that would make it for BAL. I don't think they chickened out and said, the competition is too much for us. It's not that team. If we look at the teams, Cobra qualified. I believe that City Oil, can actually go toe-to-toe with Cobra and also the other teams. So to that guy who said City Oil couldn't handle, they can handle, they can actually qualify. Yes,
well, everyone is entitled to their opinion, so that is his opinion. The other comment was about the national team having trials.
I think the last time we hosted Monday here, the national team coach, well, we actually talked about if there was a possibility of having a structure whereby we have, we have training running throughout the whole year with different guys from the league. And the other day I was thinking, if we're to have new people joining the national team, okay, we've had 2 years of basketball that really wasn't up there. So how do we spot talent? Yeah,
exactly.
When the league is not happening, okay. So one of the things that we can actually do is have that structure whereby we have different guys, you know, vying for, you know, a spot on the national team. So they go through different trainings. This won't only improve the quality of our national team, but also the quality of our league, because these same players are going to play
in the league, and then they're also going to have more aspirations of actually putting on the Silverbacks jersey.
Yeah.
So the issue of the trials is something that I believe this gentleman is actually right on that.
Yeah, it's a good comment. We should look into that actually.
Yeah, the only other issue would still come in would be the resources of actually how that is going to be run. And then we're going to be having to go back to scenarios of that there's no money, and then we wait for a bailout at the last minute.
Yeah. But I mean, if let's say in your family, Felix, okay, you have a situation whereby you're the breadwinner, you always, you know, get money from here and there, and this time around Christmas comes and, you know, there's no money. Yeah. I mean, you have cousins and you have aunties and uncles. Sometimes it's better to go in-house. Tell each person, you know, give me a 10K. You know,
and then you basically are saying the federation should outsource.
You know, in-source, more like in-source, because we have 4 divisions actually. Do you know how many basketballers we have in Uganda?
Well, you cannot actually tell, but I believe we have the biggest league in Eastern Central Africa.
Yeah, so that's minus the supporters of basketball, you know, people who love to watch basketball, people who are affiliated with basketball. Imagine you get 10 to 20K from each person. Yeah, good work for us. Okay.
No, that is actually something interesting. I remember just here before the national team traveled, there was a suggestion of every member of parliament contributing 100K to get the team there.
Yes.
And it actually didn't pass.
Yeah.
Then there was also a suggestion on various basketball forums of the fans there, the people on those platforms, actually contributing 10,000 shillings each, or whatever amount they could.
Yeah.
And there was a request of, can someone start up actually
an account,
a bank account, or put their certified numbers where people can send mobile money to those accounts. And there were so many fans, so many enthusiasts, so many people following the game, not just here in Uganda, but even in the diaspora, who are saying, who is managing this so that we can actually give them the money for the team.
Yeah, that's the other issue, trust. You know? People don't trust who's handling this money.
They were not actually willing to only just contribute for that particular tournament, but they're saying, can we set up that fund so that in case of further tournaments, if player gets injured and all that, there's at least some money on the side, which we know that someone has just contributed.
Yeah.
And all we need is just someone to be there managing that and handling and giving their accountability.
Yeah.
So who do you think would be best to be in that position?
I don't know who would be best, but this is what I would say. Okay? Don't give it to someone who's involved with basketball.
Quite interesting. Why shouldn't it be? I thought it should be given to someone who's involved in basketball, because they are playing the sport, they know what it takes, they know what the players go through, they know the struggles of actually wanting new sneakers, wanting knee pads, and everything.
Yeah, it's okay to include them. Let's say if there's a committee, you know, but the top person should be a sharp financial brain who will actually grow our money instead of just using it. Yeah.
Instead of it just sitting.
Yes, just sitting there. You know, we need a business mind. Someone who looks at sports as a business. You see how the NBA operates? It's business. Yeah. So someone who looks at it at that level of business, whether he's involved with basketball or not. Okay. Then when it trickles down to maybe its implementation, you have someone also there who helps with the implementation. So where the basketballers and FUBA and all these come in is to submit request for what they need, then the money is released, and we make sure that the money is actually going to do
and then there's
exactly
there's accountability which is provided, and all that, because I remember that was also one of the contentious issues when it came to the federation and the Minister of Sports, Mr. Hachonambua, when he was saying that the request came in on time, however, the accountability for the previous funds came in very late. So they could not provide
the
more money
without
accountability here. That would actually be very interesting.
Yeah. Then the other thing is, we have a lot of companies in Uganda, you know, and these are big companies with CSR budgets. Okay, I mean, why doesn't the government or the NCS itself just say, you know what, as part of your CSR, okay, pick a sport in Uganda that you can actually put money into, so that when it comes to national team duty for Uganda Cranes, for the Silverbacks, for the Gazelles, for the cricket guys actually supposed to go for, I think, World Cup qualifiers, or they have qualified for World Cup, one of the two. So we don't want to see the same situation in basketball now. Cricket starts hustling to get money to go there. If these different organizations can just give us even 20% of their CSR, okay, it would go a long way in actually, you know, helping not only basketball, but, you know, the sports fraternity in the country.
But it also goes down to how trickled the federations are, how organized they are. We've just been discussing here. As basketball, we've not had an AGM. As basketball, we've had rules and regulations not broken but bent, depending on who and which team. So many of these things. We've had a lack of consistency. We've not had exact venues. We have YMCA, KIU, UCU, you know? So as a sponsor, you need to know that how consistent are these people? Are they actually going to be at this particular venue? For instance, now take an example of the invite. If one weekend happened at YMCA, then it came the following weekend and it was like, no, it cannot happen here. We're moving to Makerere Pool Court. Then we're moving to the main ground. Now, what would a sponsor actually be thinking?
There's no consistency.
The sponsor will actually just pull out. They pull out and be like, depending on these terms and conditions in the contract, I'm not going to be part of this. So we'd lack that type of consistency. You would see that Power postponed their tournament by a week, but then in that week they were able to convince 2 more sponsors to come on board. And those sponsors were able to actually give them more money and happen to make their tournament very successful. Teams finally had prize money, there were trophies.
There was stuff for the fans.
There were giveaways to make the supporters also interested in this, and even YMCA as an institute benefited. It had their basketball court refurbished, repainted, the seats and what and everything, and totally when now someone just walks in like,
it's totally different. Looks really good. I love the work that they did with it.
Now you can see the benefit of having partnerships, but it also comes with trust, because now one of the reasons of that partnership is that Power Basketball have been at YMCA for quite some time. It has been their home. That is where they practice everything. So the partnership that they have enables them to make that decision and such business decisions a bit more easy. Now the federation should be throwing a bigger net so that it also has that trust to get such partnerships. Otherwise, when you reach out to a sponsor, like you said, the sponsors have the CSR budgets. They are there, but then what partnership and what trust do you have? That is the problem.
Well, I like how you gave the analogy of they're throwing out their nets. Some nets have holes, so the fish will pass right through.
The fish will pass through, but then if the net is big enough, it will
catch some.
It will grab it will grab some much more. So that when by the time you are pulling out the net, it's actually something that is coming out and very much more bigger.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, FUBA should actually go out and cast their net, and hopefully we'll catch some small or big fish, you know.
It will definitely catch some big fish, because just like what we're discussing right now, when you look at Claire Lamunu and the program that they are running with various other people, Howard, her rules, how many girls and how much talent do you think was unearthed that was not actually known by them just having that tour?
A lot of talent.
I watched some clips on Facebook, and I was amazed. And I was like, where have these girls all been this long? And it's because they had not been sought out for. Now, that is a program that needs to be spread way further. And when it's spread way further, you won't have any trouble with the gazelles struggling to look for players. They will actually be spoiled of choice.
True.
Because they'll have young talent, eager talent, hungry talent, excited talent. Now, those are people that are easy to train, are easy to actually adapt. So that is what the federation, I believe, should be doing. Not waiting for individuals actually to be doing that. That was a very good program.
It was.
It is and it's continuing, but it should be a program that is initiated by the federation.
I mean, sometimes you really can't wait for... the federation also has its other issues to think about, but it would be a good idea. The other thing is that...
But they have a committee that is only dealing with ladies basketball. So that is why I'm saying that people should be up to order. That is why I read out this comment of Kasule,
the national team.
Of having the federation have people working 8 to 5.
I mean, it goes back to the finances, but it's a good idea, and there's a lot of talent out there. The other issue is that I feel like basketball is so centralized within, Kampala, and there are very few leagues or other teams that are looked at when it goes outside of the city. So the squad beyond going with Claire Lamunu and partnering and, going out there to work with the girls is a really big thing. And these are the things you hope and pray that will continue. We pray that it's not a one-time thing, and it gives us an opportunity to actually see that there are ballers out there, okay? And the thing is, now we don't need to go and uproot those basketballers and bring them to the central, okay? We actually need to develop the league on that side. I mean, if we had a situation whereby we had a countrywide league where, Kampala something team would have to go and play, Masaka would have to go and play, a Lira team, would be a very good idea. That would actually help the growth of basketball, okay? But right now, basketball is so centralized within the Kampala region. Very few things happening out there. But it's a plus for especially ladies basketball. That is always, pushed under the carpet.
That is what I really admired. It has been slam dunk basketball. Thank you so much. My name is Felix Eupal. I have been with my co-host, Emmanuel Ateng. Catch you next time. We'll still be following your comments and responding to them as you send them throughout the week. Have a blessed one.
It is never too late to start anything, that is for sure. You can start on anything and everything at any time. It is not yet, time is not lost, you can do it. Put God first, like Bernie said, put God first. Number 2, me, I have a mentor. She's called Letitia, the one of KCCA. Like, she will call me to ask me, did you train? Like, get that one person that is going to do that for you. And I thank God for her. Yeah, get that one person that is going to do that for you. It can be your coach. It can be someone that has played the game.
Yeah.
Bronnie is here and she's willing to do that for you. Please reach out to her. Yeah, basically that is it. And also trusting yourself. It starts with you. If you feel like you can't do it, even when you try it, it's not going to move.
Yeah.
But when you feel like you can do it, with God helping you and having a mentor by your side and all that, you can surely make it.
Bronnie, you're in the medical field, okay, and most of the people who are in the medical field, be it pharmacy, be it medicine itself, they always disappear. You know, they feel like there's no time. Yeah, there's no time to do
attacked.
other things. Yeah. So, how do you balance? Okay, you especially being in the medical field. Okay, how do you balance that with basketball time?